Hey everyone, welcome back to Aviation Nation, coming out to you with the latest and the greatest. Today, we are going to be reviewing a Boeing 707. Pretty interesting, really old jet. So, here's what the virtual cockpit looks like. It's a very kind of low-res virtual cockpit. It's mainly made off of the 2D panel, so... the outside of the plane, however, is completely different. It looks amazing. It's got really, really nice resolution, and it's got nice reflective surfaces, and it's just a beautiful plane. Now, these planes flew in the 60s and the 70s, and it was just amazing, very luxurious, of course. Obviously, this paint I don't think was there in the 60s, but I don't know. Maybe it could have been. Really, really neat, though. These are just various screenshots I took from a flight. I went from Kennedy over to Miami, so I have lots of video for you guys, too. But look at it's just such a beautiful, beautiful plane. And the beauty of Flight Simulator is that you can go back into any era if you find the aircraft and fly with a realistic setting, which is really cool. There's just some video taxiing. Just really, really powerful jet. These jets at the very beginning kind of represented royalty almost. So it's really, really neat. Really cool. This is me taking off. It's a bit of a hard jet to sort of manually fly just because it is so big and it's a little old. And you're gonna see in the little FMC on the right side there, you see those two red words that says hydraulic failure. I don't know, I spawned it with that in there. I don't know if it's a real hydraulic failure. I didn't notice any hydraulics broken, so. But, yeah. Pretty cool, just checking out with the ATC. This is Edit Voice Pack ATC. It comes with a bunch of call signs and stuff that's recognized. I'm flying on the box edition, so you can see there we got hands. How cool is that? Really bad poly hands, but yeah, we got hands at least. So I will say, you can see the lights there on the side. So they're floating, so that's great. Floating strobe lights. But yeah, you know, really, really neat. Most of the things is clickable in the cockpit. It doesn't use the older fashioned autopilot. It uses a newer autopilot system. If you look at your left side gauge, you'll see there's some numbers there. You can actually control all of your headings and stuff with that. And then, of course, on the top there is your altitude, height setting, as well as your, oh, there's our pretty face, but as well as your buttons to press for your heading and your nav hold and all of that fun stuff. You saw a little bit of our pink skeleton there. Really nice. Lots of video footage for you guys too. I was very, very fortunate enough to have enough time to actually do this flight. Now, I didn't record the entire flight. I only recorded segments of it, as well as takeoff and landing. And the landing was a little bit on the meh side. But anyway, here we are taking off. This plane, I don't know what its speeds are for taking off. I didn't know how heavy we are. I just spawned it in and just go. So we're probably, well, we definitely have maximum fuel, but as for weight goes, I don't really know. So I just did the, whole 80 knots, and then once we get to 140, pull up, which worked out fine. So really cool. I did notice there's a little GPS there. It's a bit hard to see. It doesn't render very well. But here's us pulling away from the airport here as we just get on autopilot now, looking around the cockpit. You'll see the overhead panel isn't really modeled that well. Of course, the whole cockpit really isn't modeled that well, but it's modeled enough to where it's flyable. Here's us on the outside there. Very pretty. I was expecting there to be some smoke effects, but there wasn't. But you can see it's just a beautiful plane. Beautiful, beautiful. There's our really, really nice Pratt Whitney engines. I always like with older jets how they have, you know, very small circular engines, but they also have they're very long, which I really think is kind of cool. Obviously not fuel efficient at all, but really, really nice. So. Alright, so at this time we're still climbing and we still haven't reached our nav hold yet. The buttons are a little bit finicky because they kind of don't really register that well. Like, you can click them, but your game decides to kind of not allow you to click them after you click them a few times. So if you are going to get this plane and you are going to be flying it a little bit well, it's a good idea to kind of put in one of those autopilot gauges just for the very beginning. There's our first officer there, who actually looks like he has more experience than I do, and he has a sweet mustache. Although he does have some skin discoloration, but that's okay. You know, really nice. I just wanted to let you guys know I also have my Rex 4 textures installed. I am going to be redoing them pretty soon because I'm starting to get a little bit bored of the setup that I have. So if you look at the next video, I might have a different outlook in my flight simulator, which is normal. I still haven't gotten to fix that contrail problem. So you'll see in a later segment when I'm cruising, and you'll see just how bad it really is. But really, really cool. Looking around here, very nice, very beautiful day in JFK. I was using real weather, real time, and the weather wasn't as bad as I thought it would be in Miami. Usually when I go to Miami, it's raining, but this time it wasn't raining. It was actually quite sunny, which makes sense. There's the moon there. Hello, moon. It's a very, very easy jet to fly. If you have mastered one of the default planes, this one is no different almost, other than a different, you know, it's bigger. If you mastered the default 747, you should be fine with this. It's a very simple plane, really easy to read all the gauges. It's not a difficult plane to master, and actually this is one of my very first actual flights with this. I'm still learning how to fly it, but it's not hard, really. It's not. Finicking with the buttons there. You can see some of the click spots are a little bit, I guess, broken, you could say. And I tried to use them as much as I could. I did not install an autopilot gauge, but it's a good idea to install an autopilot gauge. Alright, so my contrail segment is coming up, and I'll show you what it is. It's just my FSX. It's not actually this plane, it's my FSX. But you'll see here in a few seconds, you'll see my contrails, they're flickering a little bit. If you actually zoom out, you'll see another another contrail. It'll split off and go into the ground. It's just my FSX. I did something, and the effects for my contrails aren't working, and it's just a pain in the butt to fix. But she cruises very nicely, so we originally were going to only go up to flight level 250, but I decided to go up to 320 just because I felt that we were a little bit too low for this big of an aircraft. And of course this thing kind of cruised a little bit higher at 340, but very, very, very interesting. I did notice that we didn't have a Pan Am livery. Now, if we did have a Pan Am, I'd be flying Pan Am instead. But the way the package is it's mostly centered toward the military use of the 707, and I'll show you what that is later. I do believe this is our landing. Yeah. So this is me having to get onto the ILS. And the ILS kind of makes me go a little bit too low, and I sort of freak out, so I take over and do a manual landing. It might be the ILS system is just not wanting to work very well, but maybe it was a mistake that I made. I don't know. I forgot to turn off the de-ice. That's a really bad mistake. You don't want the engines getting too hot. This thing does take on ice at a pretty substantial level, and you'll see it'll tell you too. It'll give you an ice warning. So yeah, and my scenery is at a medium high, just because I'm trying to get better frames using action, and that's why I was kind of having trouble seeing the airport. I adjusted my course settings there. But this package has many other packages of different airlines and stuff that you can download yourself on civillian.com. It's a very, very beautiful. I mean, there's lots of different liveries for this thing that the guy who made it made, or somebody else made. I don't know. I didn't install a livery pack just because I like what it comes with. So I hope to God I don't have any passengers on here, because if so, they're not going to be happy that I almost crashed into the ground at the very last part. But yeah, just us kind of having to go down. I was trying to look for the ILS on the runway, but I couldn't find it, and I was kind of like, where's the runway then? I had a chart in my other screen, and I was trying to look for certain ways you're supposed to come in and approach. We were approaching on runway 12, so I was just a little bit freaking out because I couldn't find where the runway is. And there he tells us you can go ahead and jump on the ILS. So you see what I mean? If you've mastered a default plane, you could definitely fly this thing without any problem. There are a bunch of older aircraft that have very complex autopilot systems and that you're supposed to do a certain thing with them. For instance, the Project Tupolev Tu-154B2, it's got a very, very complex setup, and it's definitely a hard aircraft to do. I've tried learning it. It's very difficult, but there are people who fly it. So really cool, really cool for our first airliner. You can see I'm struggling to find the ILS path. I can't find the dang thing. So I mean, I see the airport, but not the ILS. And I bring up my radio just so when I capture it'll light up. Very nice old looking radios too, really easy. You can see it lights up there, and we just jump onto the approach hold. Now the thing about this aircraft is when you hit the approach hold and you haven't gotten on the localizer, yeah, the plane will control itself, but you can sort of also control it just a little bit. At least you can control its pitch, and you can see the plane kind of sinks down at this part. So if we had passengers, they wouldn't be very happy. You can see I'm trying to pull up because I know that we're a bit too low. See, there we go. Lots of lakes and stuff around Florida too, so there's not really a place to put this thing if an emergency happens. So, when in doubt, don't slam your plane into a marsh, because that wouldn't be very good. I'm still trying to find the ILS path. Still can't find it. I can't tell where the runway or where the airport is. I mean, obviously I can tell where it is, but I can't find it on my GPS. And you shouldn't need a GPS with this plane, I know, but you know. Yeah, see, I had to go outside and look for the airport, and which I still couldn't find. See all those lakes and stuff down there. Really bad scenery, but what can you do? I don't have Orbex. Probably will never get Orbex. I know it's amazing, but the computer that I have right now that runs FSX isn't the greatest, and it definitely can't handle Orbex and Rex at the same time. That's like the best part right there when you bring the gear down, because you see your guys' hand move and hit the gear switch, and it's absolutely amazing. I don't know what it is. It's just, yeah, see, there we go. We're dipping down a little bit too low. Plane's fighting me, and I'm fighting the plane. Brought our gear down because I thought we were close, and we were very close, actually. And there's nowhere to land there. So. And you can see my scenery starting to pop in and stuff. And it's just a mess. I don't run on the fanciest computer ever, so definitely going to have a little bit of trouble when doing stuff like this. And as you can see, we get really low to the ground, and I'm just like, I've had it. I'm taking control. Florida's very pretty. I went to Florida in 2005, I think it was. I went to Disneyland. Or Disney World, I mean. And I think we took an MD-88 there, I believe. American Airlines from Kentucky. See, I'm just like, okay, well, you're done. Plane, give me control. And I thought that I had the engines instantly spooled themselves up too as soon as I pulled the plane up. But I just decided I'll do this manually. Turn off the annoying beeping. You know, usually when you do ILS too, you don't really keep it all the way. Although I've seen some people, they'll stay on ILS till they're 50 feet over the runway and then turn everything off, which is okay, I guess. And you can see I'm having trouble. The wind, it's a crosswind, and I'm just having so much trouble having to line myself up. Like I said in the last video, landing is not easy. And there are some people who can land. You can land a 747 at Princess Juliana and have no troubles. And then there are some people who are like, well, I landed the plane and nobody died. So, it takes forever for me to touch down too. My Steam in the background. Hey, this guy's playing this game. You want to play? And I'm like, I don't even have that game, man. Yeah, you can see we're way too high. And you're supposed to make big adjustments and then eventually go into very, very small and tiny adjustments, but I just could not get it together today, and I landed nowhere near the center line. It looks good, and then I start to panic, and then I go up, and then it's just a travesty waiting to happen. See, we're good, and then what happens? I start to panic. But you know, I'm only human. I don't even want to be a commercial pilot. That's too much stress for me. I'd rather be a private pilot. Yep, see? Nowhere near the center line. And nowhere near the touchdown zone either. But a very smooth landing too. Barely even felt it. And this thing is just like the F-18. It's like you're throwing an anchor out the back of it. Slowly but surely, you know? I didn't even think... I don't know why I thought this, but I didn't even think this 707 had reverse thrust. Even though, duh, it does. But yeah. So you Boeing fans, you'll definitely enjoy this. Your Airbus fans, you might enjoy this. Me, I like Airbus, Boeing, Embraer, Tupolev. I don't care. If you made a flying machine and I fly it and I like your company. That's how it works. We got a lot more aircraft in store as well. We're going to be doing some more fighters. We're going to be doing some more airliners. If you've got an airplane you want me to review, I might already have it. So, this is just showing different liveries and stuff. This is a tanker, by the way. And you'll see I took a picture of the drogues out. The drogues act as doors, so they're military capable. Or military capable. They're multiplayer compatible. So if you release the drogues and this person has that plane, same thing. This is a cargo livery. I didn't even know they had 707s as cargo. That's new to me. This is a British airline cargo airline, and it's got different engines. And then, of course, we've got the old Air Force One. And then this is a video segment of the AWACS. There's an AWACS that comes with it, and I just wanted to show you the radar spins. Alrighty, guys, I had a lot of fun flying with you. I hope you've had a lot of fun flying with me. And I will see you guys soon. So, like, comment, subscribe, do neither. I don't care. I will see you guys later.